There are moments in life when we stop, look at the road ahead, and feel an unsettling truth. We are not moving forward. We are not moving toward where we truly want to be. Sometimes it feels like we are drifting, sometimes like we are trapped. At such points, a natural desire rises within us, the desire to change, to redirect our life towards something more meaningful, more fulfilling. But here lies a paradox. When we decide to change, most of us instinctively turn to what we already know. We reach for the lessons of our past, the tools we have gathered from education, and the habits that have shaped us over time. We search our memory for solutions that worked before and try to apply them again. Yet, this reliance on the familiar can be exactly what keeps us stuck. The very patterns that brought us here may not take us further. In fact, sometimes they lead us backward into deeper frustration. Real transformation requires more than recycling the past. It demands that we open ourselves to new learning, new experiences, and new ways of seeing the world. Human beings crave certainty. Our brains are wired to conserve energy by relying on established routines, habits, and experiences. That is why, in moments of uncertainty, we tend to ask, what worked for me before? This instinct is useful when the context stays the same, like using a trusted recipe to bake bread. But life is dynamic, and the conditions around us rarely remain fixed. A solution that worked in one environment may fail miserably in another. Think of a manager who rose to success by being detail oriented in a small team. When promoted to lead a larger department, the same micromanagement style that once served them well now alienates employees and slows progress. What once was a strength has become a weakness because the context has changed. Past experiences and education are valuable, but they are not complete. They carry assumptions that may no longer hold true. A child who learned to avoid risks might carry that belief into adulthood, rejecting opportunities that require courage. A student who succeeded by memorizing facts may struggle later in a career that demands creativity and problem solving. A professional who built success in one era may find their skills outdated in another, shaped by technology and innovation. Einstein's words ring true. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Relying only on what we know can give us the illusion of safety, but in reality, it narrows our vision and keeps us repeating patterns that no longer serves us. Real change often requires the courage to admit that what we know is not enough. That can be humbling. We like to believe that uh, age, experience, and education naturally equip us to make better choices. But wisdom isn't about clinging to old knowledge, it's about knowing when to seek new knowledge. Learning anew doesn't always mean formal education. It could be as simple as exposing yourself to new ideas, meeting people outside your usual circle, traveling to unfamiliar places, or even trying a hobby that challenges you. Each new experience adds a tool to your mental toolbox, widening your perspective and giving you more options for decision making. Think of it like updating software. An old program may still run, but it is full of bugs, vulnerabilities, and inefficiencies. Without updates, it becomes obsolete. In the same way, uh, our mind needs constant updates through learning and experience to stay aligned with the changing world. To grow, we must sometimes admit What I know is not enough. That can be uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. Learning something new doesn't always mean going back to school. It means sometimes reading books outside your usual interests, traveling to unfamiliar places, building friendship with people who think differently than you, trying a hobby that challenges your assumptions about yourself. These experiences stretch us. They open doors to fresh perspectives and equip us with new tools for making decisions. Think of someone who has always lived in a city. For them, success may mean financial gain, career progress, or social recognition. But spending time in a rural village might reveal another truth, that simplicity, community, and nature also define a rich life. Without that new experience, they may never have questioned their old definition of success. Here are some practical steps that can help you move away from relying solely on past based decision making and instead make wiser, more transformative choices. First, pause before acting. When faced with an important decision, ask, am I choosing this because it's truly right for me now or because it feels familiar? This simple question can reveal whether you are recycling old solutions or not. Second, challenge your beliefs. Write down the rules you have been living by, lesson, lessons learned from family, culture, or past experiences. Then ask, do these rules still serve me today, or are they holding me back? For example, the rule I must always put others first might once have made you kind and dependable, but now leaves you exhausted and resentful. Third, invite new perspectives. Actively seek out voices that challenge your worldview. Listen to a podcast in a field you know nothing about. Read a book by an author from a different culture. Surround yourself with people who don't think like you. Fresh perspectives break the walls built by old experiences. Fourth, take small risks. If you are not ready to leap into the unknown, start small. Try a new workout, learn a skill unrelated to your profession, or explore a creative outlet. These experiments train your mind to embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. Fifth, balance old and new. Your past is not useless, it is a foundation, but it should be combined with new insights. Think of it as weaving. The old threads provide strength, while the new threads add color and flexibility. One reason we cling to the past is fear of failure. If something worked before, it feels safer than trying something untested. But failure, when embraced, is not the enemy, it is the best form of education. Every failure teaches us what doesn't work, narrowing the path toward what does. The problem arises only when we repeat the same mistakes without learning from them. History is full of examples. Innovators like Thomas Edison or entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs failed repeatedly before their breakthroughs. What set them apart was their willingness to step beyond old solutions, embrace failure, and learn anew. Life is not a single road to be followed but a continuous process of becoming. Each stage of life demands new tools, new ways of thinking, and new choices. When you feel lost, remember the danger is not in being lost itself, but in insisting on using old maps when the landscape has already changed. The path forward may not be in the experiences you already carry, but in the ones you have yet to live. By daring to learn and embrace new ways of thinking, you give yourself the chance to grow into the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. In the end, Change is not just about shifting direction, it is about transformation, building a wiser, more expansive self by balancing the wisdom of the past with the courage to explore the unknown. If you're still stuck right now, ask yourself, what haven't I tried yet? What new thing can I learn today? The answer may not only change your path, it may change who you become along the way. Sometimes abstract ideas make sense in theory, but they come alive through real stories. Here are a few examples of how people discovered that leaning on old solutions wasn't enough, and how learning a new opened new path. The career shifter. Maria had worked in accounting for over a decade. She was efficient, detail oriented, and valued for her precision. Yet, she often felt unfulfilled. When she finally decided to change careers, her first instinct was to look for similar jobs in finance, the familiar territory. But those roles didn't solve her deeper dissatisfaction. It wasn't until she took a design thinking workshop completely unrelated to her field that she discovered her creative side. Today, she runs her own interior design business. Her past discipline still helps her, but her leap into something new gave her life a direction she had never imagined. Second, the relationship pattern. Aaron always found himself drawn to the same type of partner: outgoing, charismatic, and strong willed. It was exciting at first. This relationship but always ended in conflict, leaving him drained. He realized he was repeating a pattern based on what felt familiar, not what truly worked for him. By breaking his own assumptions and opening himself to different kinds of people, he eventually met someone who valued communication and balance. This new experience taught him that love doesn't have to mirror the past. Third, the community example. A small farming village had for years depended on traditional methods passed down through generation. But with climate change affecting yields, sticking to the past was no longer sustainable. It was only when younger farmers introduced new techniques like drip irrigation and high density planting that the community began to thrive again. Their story shows that even collective wisdom must be updated with new learning when the world changes. Life will always present moments where we feel stuck or sense we are heading nowhere. In those moments, our instinct is to reach for what we already know, but the past, while valuable, cannot always guide us into the future. Old solutions can comfort us, but they can also limit us. The path forward often lies in courage, the courage to step outside the familiar, to risk failure, and to open ourselves to new experiences and new knowledge. By doing so, we expand our vision, discover possibilities we never imagined, and make choices not just as the person we were, but as the person we are becoming. Change, then, is not just about taking a different road, it is about becoming someone new, wiser, freer, and more capable of shaping a life that truly matters.